Can you repeat, ma'am?
Okay, so ang instruction ko is, each group, pipili po kayo ng 5 words dito sa nakikita ninyo. And then, pipili kayo ng isa niyong representative para explain kung ano yung connection ng 5 words na napili ninyo sa nagtatawag po natin ngayon. Okay? Okay po? Okay, simulan na lang sa ano po. We'll have to pick. Okay.
Knowledge, goals, and group. So first, assessment is kind of connected to our topic because andun na sa word assessment later. So it makes the teachers use this assessment in learning to measure the students' rate. Number 2 or the second word that we choose is rate. So sa rubric naman, ito yung parang compare na mag-ratean yung assessment or yung activity na ginawa ng isang bata. So next is knowledge. So sa knowledge, I think it is also connected in assessment in learning because we use our knowledge in this subject. So next is goals. So ano ba, bakit ba tayo nagkakaroon ng assessment? Because meron tayong mga target na goals. Kami saan, ito yung assessment na yung assessment is meron tayong target na goals. So next is improve. Pag nakita na natin or pag nasabuha na tayo ng assessment and then marami pa rin students na need, doon mo makikita yung performance ng isang student kung kailangan pa niya mag-improve or
Ang gamitin po namin is formative, summative, and when we formative po kasi, ginagawa ko siya before and of course during this process, and take summative, ginagawa namin siya after the semester. And for you to be able to test the knowledge as well as the learning and ability of the students, kinakailangan natin isagawa yung summative. Okay, group 4.
So, good morning everyone. Ito naman po yung first na napili sa So, una po yung assessment. Sa assessment po, connected lang kasi agenda sa title, di ba? Tapos yung summative naman po, wala na connected siya kasi sa type ng assessment. Tapos yung results naman po, makuha lang natin yung results kung magkakaroon ng assessment. Or ito yung mga kinalabasan ng nalala ng mga estudyante. The next yung students. So, yung students po yung pag-take ng assessment. So, sila yung i-assess natuto ba sila or may naiwa bang knowledge sa kanila. And that is yung measure. So, ngayon nga po, sinusukat natin yung knowledge ng bawat student.
So good morning. Ito naman yung mga napili naming 5 words. Una is goals. Tayo as a future educator, is kailangan alam natin yung goal natin na para doon sa mga bata. Kasi tayo magtuturo tayo sa mga bata. Kailangan mas malinaw sa atin at saka sa kanila kung ano yung goal natin. Pangalawa is assessment. So, pagdating sa pagtuturo, kailangan as a teacher, ma-assess natin yung level ng improvement ng bawat estudyante natin. Tama?
Yes po.
Pangatlo is learning. Paano ba tayong magiging effective sa pagtuturo? Paano ba natin makaka-capture yung mga mata nila, yung pandinig nila kapag nagtuturo tayo? Pangapat is yung outcome. Kailangan maging, as a teacher, kailangan maging malinaw din yung outcome at saka yung pag-demand result. Dapat is visualize na natin siya ahead of time. Nagigets niya? Yes. Dapat is maging malinaw din yung bagay na yun sa atin. Yun lang.
So, ang activity natin
results kung dapat nakakalain, may discuss later. So, what is assessment in learning? So, ang assessment in learning, or yung word na assessment, which is very familiar tayo, is came from the rooted in the Latin word, assedere, which means to sit beside another or to sit quick. Pero generally, we define assessment as a process of gathering or collecting data sa mga students in order to decide or to make decisions na effective sa learning nila. So, pwede ko mabasa. Who wants to read this slide? Yes, Leslie. Assessment in learning is systematic and purpose-oriented correct analysis and interpretation of evidence. Student learning in order to make informed decisions relevant to learning. So, assessment in learning is a planned process. So, sa planned process, pag-gather, pag-analyze, or pag-interpret, or pag-understand yung mga data or evidences sa students' learning. So, ang purpose po nito is para makagawa ng mga good decisions or effective plans about how to best outreach students. So, first bullet, let's read. First bullet, yes. You aim to use evidence and student learning for your purpose and management. Okay, so this means that the information gathered about how students are learning. Okay, so hindi lang siya about sa rate. So, ginagamit rin ito to improve the learning experiences ng mga bata. So, for example, if nagbigay si teacher ng assessment and nakita ng teacher na nahihirapan yung mga students niya in a specific concept or lessons, they can adjust their teaching strategies or teaching styles or methods para matulungan yung mga students na ma-adapt or ma-understand nila yung lessons namin sa kanya. So, ginagamit yung mga data na nag-gather natin yung assessments sa mga students. So, in order to make learning more effective and understood. So, assessment in learning can be characterized as, first is as a process. So, assessment in learning as a process. So, assessment isn't just, or is not a single event. It is a series of steps. So, involve dito yung what to assess, mag-gather ng mga data, mag-analyze, mag-gather yung mga data patterns na nakuha sa mga students to improve their learning. So, it is continuous and cycle. So, paulit-ulit lang po siya. So, second is based on specific objectives. So, hindi lang po siya random. Assessment or not random. It has a goal or my goal to na may goal to specific learning po siya. So, for example, yung goal, the goal is for students to understand fractions. So, magbibigay si teacher ng assessment about fractions. Pero, of course, yung assessment na ibibigay niya is sakop yung naiintindihan ng bata sa itinuro natin. Hindi siya pwede magbigay ng assessment na hindi niya siya nakafocus sa fractions. Alam ka namang fractions, pero yung mga questions niya is hindi related siya sa fractions. So, paano siya masasulunan ng bata? Mas malilito lang siya. So, what is measurement? Meron pa pala last, from multiple resources. So, hindi, a complete picture of students' learning is not formed by only one test. So, hindi lang siya nakikita sa isang test. So, ang effective assessment ay gumagamit ng mga different reliable sources kagaya ng mga quizzes, exams, mga projects, performance tasks, para makakuha ng accurate data sa pagkakulaan. Okay, so what is measurement? What's the meaning? Yes, Francis.
The process of quantifying the attribute of
Okay, so measurement is a process of quantifying. Assessment aims to understand students' learning. But measurement naman is nag-provide siya ng quantitative data. So, nag-provide siya ng quantitative data na kailangan para maintindihan or mas accurate yung mga findings ng mga teachers sa mga students para malaman nila kung saan gawin excel yung isang bata. Or hindi yung mga skill learners na effective nila. Okay, so next is what is evaluation. So, who wants to read what is evaluation? Yes, JR.
First, we're back to bringing value that can
Okay, so evaluation is a crucial step or crucial final step sa assessment process. So, if ang assessment ay pagkuha ng mga information sa mga bata, ang evaluation naman is ito na yung i-interpret niya kung ano yung mga nakuhang information, kung ano yung para to make judgments if the students ay excel or hindi, or nagkaroon ng strategy yung mga bata sa specific concept or kung saan sila nahihirapan or nag-struggle or kung nag-excel sa tao.
dito is form of open question. So, testing is provide an estimation of item difficulty based on accuracy of numbers for examinees to correctly answer a particular content. So, ito rin yung way to figure out how hard or easy the questions is. Masasabing easy ang isang question sa test if maraming tao yung nakakita ng tamang sagot. Masasabi naman natin hard yung isang test, yung question sa isang test, if konti lang yung nakakakuha ng tamang answer. So, testing also provides an estimation of item discrimination based on the number of examinees with a higher or lower ability to answer a particular item. So, test question is good as a predicting student who knows the material form. So, if the question is easy, more likely those high students o high score students makukuha yun. Pero some of students hindi natin yun makukuha kahit na madali lang yung answer na yun. Some of the students, mga little learner, kahit na madali lang yun, nasasagutan pa rin nila yun ng mali. Pero kapag yung answer is mahirap talaga, most likely going students, high scoring students, and low scoring students, probably makukuha yun ng mali. So what is the significance of the TOS? Ano ba yung TOS? So TOS is a table of specification or math test that shows aspect of a test. So yung TOS po is like a blueprint po siya sa paggawa ng isang test. Makikita ko po, TOS is like a blueprint ng isang test. So it ensures the test covers all the external topics. So TOS is used in the design and development of test. So it grants the guides the operation of the test, making sure it's fair, comprehensive, and accurate measures what is supposed to measure. So without TOS or table of specifications, yung test ko is pwede siyang accidentally na mag-focus or mag-focus sa isang specific area lang at makalimutan nila yung ibang topic na kailangan dapat i-take ng mga students. So TOS is crucial pagdating sa pag-take ng mga valid and reliable na test. So mahalaga itong table of specifications ng test. So kaya natin masasabi or consider na effective or good ang isang test. So sabi nito, if it is acceptable, recommended, hindi ko to be doing my subject. So, yung isang test is accurate at saka consistent yung measures. So, consistent yung measures na kailangan nyo kung ano yung kailangan nyo measure. So, this means that a test should be valid. So, paano ba natin masasabi kung valid ang isang test? So, masasabi natin valid ang isang test kapag the test measures what it claims to measure. For example, history. Pero yung mga question mo is about math. So, paano nagiging valid ang test na yun kung yung history bigyan mo, pero ang question is math. That's not valid there. So, reliability ba or reliable? Paano natin masasabi na reliable ang test? So, the test produces consistent results. For example, if the student take a test twice, dapat ang makuha ng answer is either pareho or mas maangan yung test. So, next is acceptable level of difficulty. So, the test is not too easy or too hard para sa mga students. So, pwede siyang mag-challenge yung mga students, pero hindi siya impossible na sagutan ng mga students. Okay, next is grading. What's grading? The first student. What's grading? What is grading? The process of assigning value to work or achievement of a learning based on specified criteria or standards. So we are very familiar sa grading, right? So grading po is a process of assigning value to performance or achievement of a learning base. So ano nga ba tayo nag-grade? Through criteria. So grades can be based from recitations, secrets, homeworks, mga performance tasks, mga tests, projects, and so on. Mga portfolios, di ba? So, nakuha natin yung grades natin doon sa mga schoolworks na yan. So, aside yung analytical score and letter grade or letter grade sa iba, letter grade. So, grading scores reflects sa performance ng isang bata. Kung how well the students meet the specific criteria or standards na sinet natin sa advance nila. So, what's the last, the very general definition of grading? Yes, that's
Grading is a form of evaluation which provides information whether a teacher is accurate a subject or a particular assessment.
So generally, grading is form ng evaluation ng mga nanoprovide ng evaluation. Nanoprovide ng information if the students excel sa nag-exam or hindi, or nagpass na siya or nag-fail na siya sa particular subject or assessment. Ginagamit natin ang grading para malaman kung yung student, ginagamit ang grading
po ako sa inyo. Kung kailan na nga po, binibigay ang formative assessment. Yes, before and during. So, sino pong binibigay ko ng isa po na formative assessment? Ay, formative assessment. Yes.
Ayaw ko na ito.
Oh, yan. So, sino pa po? Yes.
Thank you.
Ano po, Q&A po, discussing
Yes. Okay. So, lahat po nasa police. Tama. Formative assessment provides information about teachers and learners on how they can improve teaching learning process. So, ang formative assessment po ay nakakatulong po to both teachers and learners on how they can improve. So, paano po nasabi yun? So, sa teachers po, nagagamit po nila yung formative assessment para malaman po nila kung paano ma-improve yung teaching skills, methods, and strategies na ginagamit nila sa classroom. And sa learners naman po, mahalaga po yung formative assessment para mas ma-improve pa po yung learning process nila. And next, use at the beginning and during instruction for teachers understanding to assess learners' understanding. So, yung formative assessment po is ginagamit siya beginning and during that discussion. So, para po malaman talaga ng teachers kung talagang naiintindihan ba ng mga bata yung dinidiscuss niya. Lastly, can be used to inform learners about their strengths and weaknesses to enable them. Formative assessment can be used to inform learners about their strengths and weaknesses. So, para malaman kung saan sila magaling at kung saan pa yung need ng improvement nila. So, kasi mahalaga na alam ng mga estudyante natin yung kung saan sila mahina at kung saan sila magaling. So, naiintindihan ko po yung formative assessment. So, yung example po ng formative assessment ay, katulad na sinabi ko yung kanina, Q&A portion, it says self-assessment. Next, sino po gusto magbasa? Yes. Yes. So, yung summative assessment naman po, ibibigay po siya at the end of semester. And also, nakakatulong po ang summative assessment sa atin upang malaman natin kung natin ba ng mga students natin yung learning outcomes. So, next po,
Typically used for evaluating learners' performance in class and providing teachers with information about the teaching effectiveness of their teaching strategies and how they can improve their instruction in the future.
So, dito malalaman natin kung talagang natutuwa yung mga estudyante natin and effective ba yung ginamit natin sa pagtuturo. Saka, mahalaga po yung summative assessment natin kung talagang natutuwa yung mga estudyante natin po. Next is, can inform learners about what they have done well and what they need to improve in their future classes or subjects. So, same lang po siya sa formative assessment na dito malalaman po ng mga estudyante natin kung ano ba yung dapat nilang improve sa sarili nila. So, next po yung summative assessment. Next is, diagnostic assessment. So, diagnostic assessment can also be done at the beginning of the school year for us finally designed curriculum. So, itong diagnostic assessment naman po is ginagamit ito at the beginning of the school year. So, ginagamit ito para malaman kung ano ba yung alam na ng mga students natin at kung ano ba yung mga hindi nila alam. So, dito magkakaroon po tayo ng idea, magkakaroon ng idea yung mga teacher kung saan wala nila mas pagtutunan ng klase. Kasi nga, syempre, alaman naman na ituro pa natin yung mga alam nila. So, kung kanina sa formative assessment and summative assessment, tinitignan dito yung strengths and weaknesses ng mga bata. Dito naman sa diagnostic assessment is, dito naman tinitignan yung mga alam ng mga bata at yung mga hindi pa nila alam. So, yung example po ng diagnostic assessment is diagnostic test and test. So, next baseline assessment.
That at the beginning of the school year, determine what the learners already know, what are their needs that could be put in form the design of instruction.
So, placement assessment is learners based on the result of the placement is done before instruction. So, pag sinabi po natin placement from the word itself po, it helps to find the right level of learning for a student. So, ginagawa rin po ang placement assessment at the beginning of the school year to determine what the learners already know and what are their needs. So, example po ng placement assessment is yung pagkakanlang po ng reading level test. So, yung pagbabasa po, diba sa may mga school po dito na nagkakaroon po ng pagbabasa. So, by that po, malalaman po natin kung sino yung magagaling na pagbasa at yung mga makikita pa po na pagbasa. And mag-place po natin sila into right place. So, dito malalaman natin kung sino po yung mga estudyante na kailangan po natin traditional assessment. Refers to the use of conventional strategies and tools, typically used as the basis for evaluating and grading learners. Viewed as an inattentive type of assessment. Wait lang pala dito sa placement assessment, yung example ko dito, yun nga po yung pagkahandak ko ng mga reading level test. So, it is a way to measure what students have learned using a test. So, dito na tayo makakapagbigay ng grades po sa natutunan po nila. Next is authentic assessment. Ano yung gusto ko sa lahat po?
Refers to the use of assessment strategies that allow learners to perform or create product that is meaningful to the learner. The most authentic assessments are those that allow performance that most closely resemble real-world tasks or application in the real-world setting or environments.
So, yung mga estudyante natin, dapat hindi lang po sila natutunan sa akin. Hindi lang dapat sila natutunan magbasa, magbilang, mag-memorize, magtula. Dapat yung mga natutunan natin natutunan nila sa atin na ipapakita nila sa real-world task or application ng real-world setting. So, example po ito ay ang projects, hands-on activities kung saan kaya-apply nila yung natutunan nila, essays yung nila na-enhance yung critical thinking skills nila and more. So, in short, authentic assessment helps students use their knowledge and not just to remember it. Next naman po, what are the different principles in assessing learning? So ito, ano ba yung importance ng assessment sa atin? First, assessment should have a clear purpose. So dito, dapat yung assessment may clear purpose siya. So that teachers and students know bakit nga ba ito ginagawa at kung paano ito nakakatulong sa learning. So hindi lang siya about sa pagbibigay ng test, but it's about checking progress, understanding strengths, and finding areas that need improvement. Second is, assessment is not an end in itself. So, hindi lang dapat nila tinitignan yung assessment na sa test lang. Dapat tinitignan nila yung assessment na tool para makatulong sa kanila to improve their learning. Next is, assessment is an ongoing, continuous, and a formative process. So, meaning it happens all the time. So, hindi lang dapat sa pag-umpisa sa pagtatapos ng klase, but it continuous. It means that regular na check ng teacher kung paano natututo ang estudyante niya. Ito sa formative kasi ang goal nito ay to help students improve while they are still learning. Yung example ko nito is daily feedback, ganyan, and Q&A portion or quick kapag natapos ng isang lesson. Number 4 is, assessment is learning-centered. So, understandable naman na it means it focuses on the needs, progress, and abilities of the student. Next, assessment is both process and product-oriented. Meaning, it focuses on how the student learn and what they achieve. So, pag sinabi po natin process-oriented test ay ito yung kung paano na-develop yung mga student skill, critically, and solve problems. It checks learning steps, creativity, and improvement. Pag sinabi naman po natin product-oriented test, dito naman po nakapokus yung final result of learning, like exam projects or performances. It checks accuracy, quality, and mastery. So, number 6 po, assessment must be comprehensive and holistic. So, wag lang po tayo pipigil sa isang skill ng mga bata. Dapat lahat po nung assess skill ng bata and knowledge nila, ano kaya nilang gawin. Dapat tignan din po natin yung other skills and knowledge na kaya nilang gawin. So, next po, assessment requires the use of appropriate measures. So, dito, hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng mga test and test activities or evaluations that match the skills or knowledge being checked. So, hindi tayo pwedeng gumamit ng mga test na hindi na match the skills or knowledge nila. So, like for example, sabi ko is yung magpapa-experiment ka sa grade 1, gano'n. Siyempre, hindi pa naman po nila kaya mag-experiment. Next po, is assessment should be as authentic as possible. So, sabi ko nga po kanina dun sa authentic assessment is hindi lang dapat nila natututunan yung mga sa pag-aaralan nila. Dapat nai-apply din nila yun sa buhay nila. So, yun lang po.
So, good morning everyone. I am Christine Reyes Pagaliga, Assistant Mission Officer for Technology. So, next na kami sa measurement with community assessment. So, meron po tayo dalawa dito. And hybrid visual or so, what is classical test theory? So, classical test theory known as theory score theory. This explains the variation in the performance of exam instrument to measure this due to the variation in their ability. So, ang classical test theory daw, kung nakilala rin nila theory score theory ay isang pamahalaking model sa psychometric na nag-explain ko kung bakit nagkakaiba ang performance ng mga examinees. Sa example, so it posits that the variation is scores due to the variation in their ability. So, CBT acknowledged that no test is perfect. May mga factor daw po na nakakapekto sa marka ng isang tao kung sa kanyang tunay na kakayahan. Pwede po tayo sa mga external factor, for example po yung follower coordinate sa paligid or coordinate. So, CCTV provides a way to estimate two important characteristics of each item mga guys. So, provide an estimation of the item difficulty based on the frequency or number of examination to correctly answer a particular item. So, tinatanggal ko dito, base sa kung gaano karami sa mga examination ang makakasagot ng tama sa isang particular na item. Halimbawa po, kung 80% ng mga kumuha ng mga pinagsagot na tama sa isang tanong, ang p-value or item difficulty nito ay 0.80 kasi kung mas mataas ang p-value, mas madali ang item. Next is, provide an estimation of item estimation based on the number of so, examine is, with a higher or lower ability to answer a particular item. So, dito naman po, is tinatanong naman po dito base na kung paano naiiba ang performance ng mga examiners na may mataas ang kakayahan kumpara sa may mababa ang kakayahan sa isang particular na item. So, a good item should be easier for those with high ability to answer correctly compared to those with low ability. For example po, ang question na lang dito lang sa iba-iba ang pagluhulugan na tayo tayo sa pagpunay. So, students po nila ang Filipino are more likely to answer this correctly. So, it's most of those with high score answer correctly and fewer of those with lower score do the item answer. So, in short po, CTP method mo people making the quality of the examining the difficulty and the simulation of each item. Tutulong ito para ma-improve ang pag-sulit at mas tama na gusto pa ng kakayan ng mga examiner. Pero tandaan po natin na may mga limitation din po ang CCP and more advanced models are available. Next one is, what is item sino po gusto magpasayin first?
Analyzes that item by estimating the probability that an examinee answers an item correctly or incorrectly.
So, ang item test theory po, ito naman po ay isang advanced na psychometric. Ito para po ay CCP. Hindi po natin lang ang kabuuan ng marka ng examinee. Tinitingnan po ng IRT ang performance ng bawat examinee sa bawat item na examiner. So, mas detailed at mas malalim po ang analysis nito. So, ang IRT po ay hindi lang basta bilang ng tama at mali. So, tinatansya rin po dito ang probability ng masagot ng tama o mali ng isang examinee. Isang item, depende po sa ability ng examinee at sa kahirapan po ng item. So, mas mataas ang kakayahan, mas mataas po ang probability ng masagot ng tama ang isang item. Kung mas madali ang item, mas mataas din po ang probability na masagot ng tama. So, assume that the characteristic of an item can be estimated independently of the characteristic or ability of the examinee and vice versa. So, ang isang malaking pagkakaiba po ng IRT sa CCP ay ang assumption dito na ang mga katangian ng isang item, for example po, yung kahirapan at power na discrimination. May pwede natin po na depende sa mga katangian po ng examinee at vice versa. So, ibig pong sabihin, hindi po nakadepende ang pag-assist ng isang item sa specific na mga tao. At hindi rin po nakadepende ang pag-assist ng kakayahan ng isang tao sa specific na mga tanong na sinagot. So, aside from item difficulty and discrimination, ITR analysis na provide with the statistical characteristic curve. So, bukod daw po sa item difficulty at item discrimination, na parehong ginagamit din po sa CTP. IRT provides coordinated information such as 50 statistics. So, when we say 50 statistics, hindi po, sinusukat po dito kung gaano po kapit ang performance ng bawat item sa IRT natin. Kung hindi magandang po, kung ay hindi magandang din, maaari may problema po sa item. For example po yung malabo ang question or mali sa scoring. When we say item characteristic curve naman po or ICC, ito naman po isang graph na nagpapakita ng probability ng pagsagot sa isang item kasi po sa kakayahan natin sa akin. So, in more precise, item difficulty and discrimination. So, ito nga ba yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? So, ang CCP po ay parang pagtingin sa buong puno, habang ang IRT naman po is parang pagtingin sa bawat dahon. So, ang CCP po ay mas simple at focusing lang po siya sa total score while IRT is more complex, provide a more detailed by examining each item and the ability of each test taker. So, IRT offers a deeper analysis at mas marami pong information ang makukuha. So, yun lang. So, good morning everyone. Continuation lang po ng report natin sa lesson 1. Components of high quality assessment. So, first is clear purpose. So, yung clear purpose po is, pag sinabi natin clear purpose, yung assessment po is dapat malinaw na na-identify yung goals o yung objective nito. Nasagot na rin yung question na what do we want to achieve with this assessment. So, para po mas gulo yung assessment is nakaalan siya with specific educational goals and objectives and also contributes directly to effective learning and teaching. So, next po is clear and appropriate targets. So, setting clear targets. Specify what students are expected to know as a result of assessment. So, it should be clear po. So, pag sinabi ko natin clear, again, is dapat malinaw at madaling naintindihan ng both teachers and educators. So, be specific and avoid ambiguity or confusing. So, next, measurable.
project, observation, portfolio, and more. Methods should be voted based on their ability to provide valid and reliable data.
So yung appropriate method is refers to choosing the right way to assess necessary, depending on what skills or knowledge you're looking for. So, using assessment method. So dito po is kailangan mong piliin yung best assessment method, appropriate tools, and para piliin yung performance ng isang subject. So kapag nagbibigay po tayo ng assessment test like thesis, project, or portfolios, i-make sure po natin na valid ito ang reliable. So next is activity sampling. Sampling student work. First, the selection of a representative sample of a student work or performance. To cover a range of content or skills to provide a comprehensive view of student activities. So, ibig sabihin po dito is, huwag natin i-judge yung mga students sa based on just what activity or what test. Kasi yung isang, kasi yung ibang student po is magaling din po sila sa performance task. So, next is objectivity. Objective assessment. The scoring or evaluation practice is fair and biased and consistent, minimizing subjectivity and personal biases in yung scoring. So, sa bawat student po is dapat fair evaluated equally. Tapos, unbiased, the teacher personal feeling, opinion, or favoritism will not affect score. So para po ma-minimize yung pagka-bias, pwede kong gumamit ng teacher na tinatawag natin scoring routine. So, feedback. High quality assessment often include feedback mechanism that provides students with constructive information about their performance. So, yung feedback or represent information provided to students about their performance and assessment. So, nakakatulong din po yung feedback na may bigyan ng student yung strength and weaknesses nila to improve their future performance. Next is ethical consideration. Ethical principle should guide assessment practices, ensuring fairness, equity, and confidentiality. All students should have an equal chance to show their abilities. And when it comes to equity naman po, assessment must be unbiased and not disadvantage in a group based on background, ethnicity, and gender. So, yun lang po.
So yung akin naman po is isang trend and focus of assessment. First is formative assessment, which is both ongoing assessment to us, the learning practice to provide feedback and guiding instruction, helping students to monitor their own progress and identify their improvement. So dito sa formative assessment, so ito yung ongoing check-up habang nag-aaral. For example, after ng lesson, nagbigay si teacher ng quiz para malaman kung sino nakakaintindi at kung sino yung kailangan ng tulong. So next naman is individualized and personalized assessment. Tailoring assessment to individual students' needs and interest of optimize their learning experience. So dito, ina-adjust natin yung assessment based sa needs ng bawat student. Like kung may student na mahilig sa art, pwede siyang gumawa ng sabi instead of writing test. Next naman, technology integration. Utilizing online tools and platforms for remote assessment and to enhance the assessment experiences, including AI-powered assessment tools. So dito naman, gumagamit tayo ng online tools para sa assessment. For instance, if kayo gumagamit ng Google Forms para sa quizzes, so instant ang makukuha ng assessment. Next naman is focus on higher level thinking, something like critical thinking, practice solving creativity related to rotated knowledge level. So dito naman gusto natin mag-isip ang isang critically. Hindi lang basta memorize. For example, sa history, instead na mag-isip ng tinitignan nila kung bakit nangyari yung isang event. Next naman is multiple assessment method. Using a variety of methods to assess students like processes, tests, project presentation, and construction. So dito naman, ang different way to assess their using favorite response, test project, at presentation para makita kung paano Get empowered so that the take of your dreams or your identity become more complete in the learning process. So dito, kapag involve ang student sa activity, magiging responsible sila sa learning nila. Like, kung pwede silang piliin ang kanilang project. So, next, going to be a project. As business, the business line to be very applicable for all students because there's a there and backward or so dito sa informatics, dapat merong assessment para sa lahat. Halimbawa, ang isang estudyante ay may learning disability. Ay pwedeng bigyan ng extra time para sa learning para nag-improving na sila. Number one, okay, please fill out one more sheet of paper. Okay, are you done? Okay, okay. So, 1 and 2 is identification. So, number 1 is the process of gathering quantitative or qualitative data for the purpose of making. Number 2, evaluation which provides information whether a learner pass or fail a subject or a particular assessment task. What do you call in a form of evaluation that provides information whether the learner pass or fail. Alright, done? Are you done? Okay, so 3 to 4, 5 to 6 and 7 is enumeration. So 3 to 4 just gives at least 2 times